of the group stage draw. Tough groups for Tottenham, Liverpool and Manchester United in there. Tottenham drawn alongside Barcelona and Inter in Group B. Liverpool have PSG and Carlo Ancelotti's Napoli in there, as well as a tough trip to Red Star Belgrade. Manchester City, I think, can be fairly happy with their Group F. They've got Shakhtar Donetsk, who they played last season, and also Lyon and Hoffenheim, teams they haven't faced before. And Manchester United up against finalists in 2015 and 2017. Juventus, of course, Cristiano Ronaldo returning to Old Trafford with that tie. Valencia and Young Boys in Group H as well. And Real Madrid alongside Roma in Group G. So there you have it then. Some great, fantastic ties to look forward to there, Owen.
Some really special games. I mean, difficult draws for Liverpool and Tottenham, without question. I think Manchester City, as you mentioned, will be the happiest. I don't think there's any clear favourite for that second place in Group F. And I think for Manchester United, as much as Juventus is in there, and Valencia, as good a side as they are with Marcelino as a manager, they're not the power that they were in the early 2000s when they're in the Champions League finals regularly. So I believe Manchester United will think they can get through into the knockout stages, and some terrific matchups, it really is.
After losing their last two league games, though, it'll not be what Jose Mourinho wanted to see, one of the big favourites in there, Juve.
He was going to get one of them, unfortunately, being seeded in pot 2.
He was probably hoping for Lokomotiv Moscow,
probably,
I think.
And I think the way his luck's going at the minute, that wasn't going to happen. But I still think it's a favourable draw for United if they can get themselves playing well. And you have to say that's a bit of a fairy tale draw as well for Cristiano, going back to Old Trafford again. I know he's been there since with Madrid and so on, but I'm sure it's going to be a good one for everybody to watch, and United fans to get him back at Old Trafford again. Do
you think they'll progress from that group, Owen?
Yeah, I do. I don't think Valencia, as good as they are, they have some good players in there. There's not world-class players on that side. Their best player is probably Rodrigo. They've got Kondogbia in the midfield. But Manchester United, if they put all the pieces of the puzzle together, they should be able to finish second in that group.
Let's talk Tottenham then, Jermaine. They don't have much luck with Champions League draws, do they? That's
do it the hard way.
Pretty special group there. Barca in there and Inter as well. Of course, you know all too well about facing Inter Milan in the Champions League. Just talk to us a bit about your memories from those games.
Just Gareth Bale. It's about all we could remember from the day. I mean, being 4-0 down in the San Siro is not a nice place to be when you're down to 10 men. And obviously somehow we dug deep with some brilliant performances all round, but Gaz massively stood out. And I have to say, that was the game actually where we probably went into that game with a lack of belief, if anything, and we came out of it and went, actually, they're not that good, and we definitely beat them back at the Lane. And we felt from that minute on that we could go on and do good things, and it took a top side in Real Madrid to eventually stop us that year. So it was a big learning curve for the club, and one when I see them now sat within that group, I think is going to give them a lot of confidence. It's a tough group, don't get me wrong, but I still fancy them to go through in that group.
Yeah, they're a bit erratic as well at the moment. Inter just 1 point from their first 2 games at the moment, so Spurs will probably fancy themselves in that one. We can get some reaction to that draw. Therefore, Tottenham representing them, Ledley King is in Monaco, and he's been speaking to Emma Dodds.
Ledley, Group B, Barcelona, PSV and Inter Milan. What's your reaction to that?
Yeah, delighted with it. Some really good games to look forward to. When you're in this competition, you want to play against the best sides to test yourselves, and that's what we'll be doing.
I think we all remember Gareth Bale's hat-trick against Inter Milan the last time the teams played. Has there been a shift in power, though, do you feel, between the teams since then, given that Inter are just back in the competition where Tottenham have put their mark on it?
Well, yeah, we've come a long way since then. We was new or novices in the Champions League at that time. Just enjoying the ride and the occasion. This time a little bit more expectation on the team to do well. But I think we've arrived in the competition. We feel comfortable now, and we can get good results in it.
And this is the first time since 1982 Tottenham have taken on Barcelona. How do you feel the teams match up?
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that game. It's a game that, as an ex-player, I always wanted to come up against. I wanted the team to come up against Barcelona. I really wanted to see that test. I think the fans will love that game. I think Barcelona players will love playing against Tottenham team that plays an attacking style of football. So a great game for the neutrals.
It's been a great start to the season. Do you feel the team is in a good place at the moment heading into this group stage?
Yeah, for sure. 3 wins in 3 is fantastic. Obviously, the Manchester United result was a very special result. So the team should be full of confidence, and hopefully they can take that on to the Champions League with them.
And all three of the other teams in this group have won this competition. Is it Spurs' turn this time?
Yeah, I'd love it to be, of course. You know, I think we're still, you know, improving each season in this competition. As I say, you're playing against some of the top teams, so you're never sure how any one campaign's going to work out for you. So the team will have to play well to progress, but we're well capable of that.
Thanks for talking to us, Ledley. Thank you.
Cheers, thank you.
Yeah, I guess trips to both San Siro and the new camp for Tottenham's exciting and a bit scary as well, Jermaine.
I don't think they'll be scared, if I'm totally honest with you. I think what Ledley's talking about there, which was more our era, where it wasn't the norm for Tottenham to be part of the Champions League. You know, I remember walking out at the Bernabeu and thinking, this is going to be a lively afternoon, lively evening, and it turned out to be. Thanks to Crouch getting sent off after 10 minutes. But, you know, this club now has come a long way from that point, and they feel, as Ledley says, like they belong. And these are the types of tests, I suppose, where they are going to be expected to come through. And we're talking about players who have grown now as well and developed, been at World Cups, become better players, played Champions League, been to places like the Bernabeu and got results. So I think they'll feel comfortable within the environment.
Do you agree, Owen, that they'll take so much confidence from the performances and results in the group stage last season against the likes of Real Madrid and Dortmund, that they'll feel they really belong in that group? Without question.
I think Barcelona are going to show a huge amount of respect to Tottenham. This Tottenham team, they really go for everyone. And I think they can, as we said about Liverpool, they can have different styles. You know, they can play on the counter-attack. They press exceptionally well. Dele Alli, Harry Kane in the side, Christian Eriksen, the star players that can make the difference in these games. Son was terrific in some of these games as well. So this is where they can be effective. On the counter, Barcelona are the favourites in the group, but I still think they're a far better team than Inter Milan. They've spent a lot of money into Milan, but still slightly chaotic and a difficult start in the Serie A so far.
Absolutely. Liverpool in Group C, what a tough one for them. Yeah. PSG and Napoli in there as well. Also Red Star Belgrade back in the competition for the first time since they won the European Cup in 1991, and that's a really tough ground to go to there, isn't it? It's going to be a fiery one.
Historically, the atmosphere is always electric at Red Star. Again, this is a team that I think is fearless, to be honest with you. I think having gone all the way within the competition last year would give them huge confidence. They've got a lot of youth in their side as well. When you're young, you're fearless. You can come up against anything. And as tough as that group is, I'm confident that they should be able to go through, to be honest with you. I think they're one of the most feared sides in the competition. I really do.
We could see some seriously high-scoring games with the ties in that group. The idea of that Liverpool front three up against Neymar, Mbappe and Cavani, that's mouthwatering.
Well, there's two great teams in that group. That's Paris Saint-Germain and Liverpool. Napoli, obviously, a good side with a great experienced manager and Ancelotti, but I don't think they have the firepower to compete with either two. But the ties, Paris Saint-Germain against Liverpool, Thomas Tuchel against Jurgen Klopp, terrific matchups. And you're right, some of the best young players on display. Should be really special games to watch.
Will Liverpool feel they can win that group?
I don't think Jurgen Klopp goes into any game or any tournament thinking he can't win it. I think he's of a certain mentality. It's going to be interesting to see how they handle the pressure of that group. But I think he'll believe they can top it.
Well, he's glad he wasn't drawing the balls out this season after having a little bit of difficulty last year. But Ian Rush is in Monaco once again, and he's talking to Emma Dodds about that group for Liverpool.
Well, Ian, Group C, PSG, Napoli and Red Star Belgrade for Liverpool. What's your reaction?
Well, I think as I say, there's no easy games anymore, is there? So they're all difficult games. But no, I think anyone can beat each other. It's one of them where you expect the front two to go ahead and qualify. But I think in this one, any one of the four can qualify. So we're in pot three. So looking at it, you could say it's a decent draw for us and all that, because they won't want to come to Liverpool.
Absolutely. There's only been one meeting with PSG back in 1997, which PSG went on to win. But how do you feel the two squads pair up this time?
Well, I think Liverpool, they got the final last year, and I think they've got a stronger squad now. But I think Paris Saint-Germain, over the last few years, they've got stronger and stronger. And I think one of their big desires will be to win the Champions League. They're winning the French league, year in, year out. And a bit similar to Manchester City in a way, in the English league, even though the English league's are harder. I think these people, like Manchester City's and PSG, they want to try and win this Champions League, and that's why it's going to be, and they'll be going out for it. So I think it's going to be difficult. But saying that, they'll find it tough when it comes downfield.
I'm sure these are games that you would have loved to have been involved in, aren't you?
Yeah, you love all this. It's what it's all about, the Champions League, you know, where clubs are getting stronger, you know, the so-called weaker clubs are getting stronger and all that. But you love to play in these games. But at the moment now, I think I can sit and watch at Anfield and hopefully get the right results.
You said you think Liverpool are stronger this season. Do you feel they have the capability then to go one better than last year?
I'd like to think that, but at the end of the day, you need a little bit of luck. You know, I think a strong squad, you know, if you get a few injuries, things change. But I think they've got a strong squad and they've had a decent start to the season. So, but come the Champions League, it all changes and all that, and that's what it's all about now. It's a Champions League.
You know what the expectation is like at Anfield, but do you believe that these players can cope with that level of expectation this time around?
Yes, why not? I think you get the final and they learn from that. We weren't expecting to get to the final last year. We got to the final and that's set a standard now. So from that standard now, hopefully we can go onto even better things.
Thanks for your time, Ian. Thank you.
Thanks.
Ian Ross optimistic about Liverpool's chances there. Napoli and PSG certainly won't relish playing this Liverpool side. Now, in the last 15 years, 40% of all the Champions League winners have come from Group F, and that is the group that Manchester City are in, alongside Shakhtar Donetsk, Lyon and Hoffenheim. Owen, they'll be pretty happy with that one, won't they?
And I think you've just made all the Manchester City fans go to the bookies straight away and put on the bets on. But you're right, I mean, look, that is a very favourable group for Manchester City. They're all good teams in there, Shakhtar Donetsk, Lyon, Hoffenheim. Quite an interesting team, really, Hoffenheim. Their young manager, Julian Nagelsmann, he took over as the under-18 coach when they were fighting relegation, got them into the Champions League. They play some wonderful football, a bit similar style to Pep Guardiola. I think they could finish second, but Manchester City, heavy favourites to top that group.
Yeah, I should say as well that no winners have come from Group G as well, the group that Real Madrid are in. So there's possibly an omen that they might not be making it 4 in a row. Let's look for Manchester United. Do you think he's right there? That facing Juventus at the moment, that's the toughest task.
It's the toughest task in their group. I think the group is still quite favourable, you know, to Manchester United. I don't agree with it being a tough group, but yeah, I mean, Juventus going up against anybody is going to be hard. So I think United just got sort themselves out first and foremost. That's the main thing.
Are all the English sides getting out of the group, Owen?
Yeah, I would say definitely. I think they're in a good position, good strong teams, great managers. I think everybody will believe they can get into the next phase.
Thank you, Owen. Thanks, Jermaine. The group stages of the Champions League kick off on the 18th and 19th of September. We can't wait till it gets underway. I'll be back at 7:15 with Jermaine. We've got the second leg of Burnley's Europa League playoff against Olympiacos. They are 3-1 down. It's a tough task. That's coming up soon on BT Sport. Goodbye.